Nalguidan versus UchihaSaske. I'm going to have to get better at saying that name. Throws me off. So that's a crazy Group A. Group B.
Bloody face killing Noblod and Starfruit. This is a pretty bloomin' stacked group, I think we can fully well say, with Bloodyface and...
So with the crazy Holy Wrath play that got him there, maybe he could have delayed it a little bit with this, with the Holy Wrath Paladin in the game we cast earlier in this tournament. Can it do it versus, you know, the dual OTK Paladin, the clone Xerix Priest? There is an odd rogue from Nalguidan, and then obviously the Hunter was banned as well.
Yeah, UchihaSaske has gone much more with the European line of thinking that we saw last week of just 4 good decks. Like, you go on something like HS Replay, which tracks all the stats of the different deck lists, find what works for you, tech them correctly for what you think the meta is going to be, and it's working out well for him. This is the lineup that I tend to like a lot more than the fancy meta calls, because even when they work, they look very flashy. The majority of the time, they fall pretty flat on their face, I think, because it's very difficult to read the meta. But I think UchihaSaske, because of his relatively aggressive decks in the form of Odd Rogue, Hunter, and kind of Even Lock, which functions as the beatdown a lot, he's got himself in a reasonable spot in this matchup.
Right, and now we see it's going to be the Priest from Uchiha versus the Paladin from Nalguidan, and I feel like I just love casting this Paladin deck, not even just from the point of a Paladin player, because it's a dance, right? Like, both players have to play with, can I kill them? Can I set up a kill? Are they just going to heal? And then it goes both ways, because we saw Nalguidan have to go to some desperate measures to try and get a win, or it was all over. So both decks very difficult to manage in this one, I would say.
Yeah, another look at Nalguidan's record through this. Swiss only losing to Killing All Day, also here in the top 8 yet again, taking down some real powerhouses in Just Saiyan and Doc Pone, previous World Championship competitor as well.
Strong fashion. I do not see anything higher than a 1 loss there, apart from versus Killing. So it's 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-0. Like, very, very convincing from Nalguidan. He just keeps doing it. I'm impressed. Now, though, the Pyro just going out as a dude that he might get an extra draw from with this Cleric as well, especially because as the Paladin, you can't play around a Cleric. You have to play your draw cards. It's what the deck does. So you just have to accept sometimes this happens. And there are no real ways to kill it, apart from when you build it like Nalguidan and have a true silver champion, which might actually be a bit of a saving grace here.
Yeah, I'm so in love with the true silver in this deck, just because there's so many matchups, I think, at the moment, where it's really important to kill a minion at, like, the exact turn 3 or 4 breakpoint, like against Odd Rogue, where it's a Hench Clan or Vicious Fledgling. Here, where you have to kill Clerics or Pyros. You have to kill Acolyte of Payton in a lot of matchups as well. Animal Companion against Hunter. And the extra heal that it can afford you when paired with Crystal Smith Kangor is very good as well.
Yeah, now we see the slew of names as well that UchihaSaske has taken down. Dog, Sidonia, Purple, Galen, Ike. That's incredible. Lost to level 9001, which is just a great name. But outside of that, an absolutely extreme performance, I would say.
Yeah, he should be very proud of himself, repping his home country of Peru as well, being the first Peruvian player to ever make it through to the top 8, similar to ThunderUp last week, being the first Turkish player to make it through to the top 8 of playoffs and finally advancing through to the World Championships. Maybe it is a good omen of pioneers for their countries.
And that was a terrible from which start to...
I was talking about the record at the time. What were the other 2 options that were available?
Mass Hysteria versus OTK Paladin.
Not the best.
It was that and... Oh, what was the other one? Name me some bad priest cards. Put it this way.
Most of them?
He took Surrender to Madness, Tarek.
I think that says it all.
It was bad. I can't remember.
I'm honestly trying to think of what cards could possibly be worse. But yes, Surrender to Madness is obviously not what you're looking for in this matchup.
It's going to be used to proc the 2 damage for lethal at the end from an Anduin.
Oh, just to refresh
it's just a card that you can get 2 damage from at this point. Dragon Ball Scorcher, not the most common pick in this deck. I feel like you have very little space for cards like this in lineups. I also personally maybe underrate this card because I feel like 1 damage just often doesn't do much.
Yeah, in a Priest, it's, I think, more likely to get there because it sets up for Pyromancer clears, Duskbreaker clears, and also just Mass Hysteria. The lower health minions the more likely it is to clear everything off. But I agree, it's a fringe inclusion. It's probably not that high.
It feels like, because we've had this style of Priest for so long, that there are Like, space is just at such a premium in this deck, and there are so many cards you'd like to run, and just can't quite make it.
And it's also just another dragon to proc your dragon effects. When you're playing the Fire Tree Witch Doctor in there as well, and Scale Worm, there's a lot of non-dragon cards you have that you really want to be proccing as reliably as possible with the dragon effects.
Sometimes you need those Twilight Acolytes to go off.
Agreed.
Nalguidan. Not a problem, but the moment you have to sit back with this deck and be like, right, what sequence do I play these cards in that isn't going to completely mess me up here? Because hand space can be a problem with this deck, depending. And the more you put tech cards in, the harder it can get.
Yeah.
And even now, just playing the Pyro into Crystology kills off the Fire Tree, and cool.
Yeah, he's just got to play anything that dumps a card from his hand here, as we see the double Righteous Protector.
That was nice.
Is this nice? I am becoming more and more of the mindset that Righteous Protector is so important to be really greedy with, because when used at the absolute opportune moment, it can get you disgusting amounts of time ball. It can just be another timeout if you're putting it in the right place. And I know against Priest that's a little bit more difficult to do because they have a lot of one-attack sweepers, like as we see here, the Scorcher, the Wild Pyromancer, and things like that. And I suppose it's working out pretty well here for him.
Yeah, I think now it soaks up enough damage, and most importantly for me, it was draw 2 cards and then get them out of your hand.
Yeah.
Get them out of your hand, because there's still Novice Engineer in there. You're going to be sitting on Banker, Brewmaster, and Zola for quite a while now. Yeah. So I just like the dump, just get it out of the way.
I guess it's fine. I think I'm maybe overestimating that, because in a lot of the more minion-based matchups, it can be very important to get it down.
100% agree with you on that, but this matchup, you're scared of those Mind Blasts.
And with the Thalnos as well, this just so works out so gorgeously for Nalgi.
Is that Monsieur Uther? Okay, so now, yet again, Nalguidan pieces together. Well, I have Uther and 3 bounces, technically. Like, there's still a lot of cards left in the deck, but he can start just plugging away.
Absolutely. I think Nalguidan will be working towards an Uther OTK more likely than a Holy Wrath OTK. Unless he's feeling particularly lucky.
I was like, well, I did it last game. I'll try it now with 10 cards in the deck. Bang! Again, hard part of this deck. Weird question. What do you play anything? Do you just Hero Power Pass? Really? Do you want Hero Power because of Psychic Scream?
I'm kind of looking at the potential for Holy Wrath to be played. Maybe not right here, but just drawing him another card, because, like you said, he does technically have the 3 bouncers, or like replicating Horseman effects of Banker, Brewmaster, and Zola. Banker only really works if you have an empty deck, though, right? If you want to draw it immediately. So he does want to keep drawing through to find that second youthful Brewmaster.
Very, very nice Alexstrasza here.
Yeah.
The reason I like it right now is it goes into the Uther turn. So, well, if the Uther, they can't kill it.
Good point.
And then, yeah, they heal for a bit, but then you hit them for almost as much as they've healed for if they swing the weapon. You do have to think, though, and it's something you have to bear in mind as Paladin, and I've trailed off multiple times with it, is because I draw cards really quick, I feel like my opponent does, and they don't. Look at the card count, 9 to 17.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, you should play as if he doesn't have most of his cards, because he doesn't. It's just a fact, but because you draw so much, you're like, right, okay, we're even. You know, you're always even in card draw.
No, it's such a testament to how absurd Paladin's card draw engine is at the moment, because their reward for drawing all those cards is 25 damage, which is good, but that's not absurd. A lot of other OTK decks have done much better throughout the history, but that's how quickly they draw through their deck. It's worth it to go for a pretty mediocre combo at the end.
Interesting timeout for me there. It's easy for us to judge hands based on what we've seen, but I was just saying, like, 16 cards left. There's no Anduin live. It was...
He's at 9 mana as well.
He couldn't Mind Blast, Holy Fire.
And he hasn't played a Visions.
Hasn't played a single Visions.
So it would have to be Fire Tree. Yeah, that's the card he's afraid of. But that is interesting. I guess he's thinking that it's a 2-turn setup would be very possible for Sasuke, because Nalguidan this turn wants to play Uther, but he will heal for a decent amount of damage, but he can't play Crystal Smith Kangor on the same turn. So if he'd taken, say, 10 damage on this turn, then plays Uther, he might just be dead the turn after. So I don't hate it.
The light's justice has failed.
Especially as long as he survives for the next couple of turns, he's looking so good.
Right.
Because no Anduin in sight. Alex Strauss has come down. Crystal Smith Kangor next turn heals him up to basically full.
I do like what UchihaSaske has been doing, though, in terms of just making awkward Uther turns. Like, he just hit into a 4-attack minion and he's still not dead.
Great
so then he pushed
disruption.
more damage, and then he did the previous thing last turn with the Alex Strauss.
And it was a perfect breakpoint where he had the top deck potential for lethal there with Mind Blast. That would have just ended the game if he'd drawn it there.
Now, I wonder what's going through Nalguidan's mind now, because he hasn't seen burst damage now. He's seen card draw, value, draw, and you wouldn't need to draw tons of your deck if you had the damage, right? So maybe Nalguidan can be a little bit, or feel safer. But now maybe with that Holy Fire, that puts the fear into Nalguidan.
UchihaSaske turning up the heat with this Holy Fire. And with Shivala picked up, that is a pretty disgusting amount of healing that Nalguidan could now roll with, especially with the Crystal Smith Kangor. You can just heal for whatever he wants.
And I really like it as well, because you can Shivala attack, Zola the Shivala back, and then just Potion of Heroism on the Shivala again to give it back Divine Shield.
Yeah.
So there you end with a Shivala on board Divine Shield,
Yeah.
and then you still have Kangor, and you're on full health. And then they still have to deal with it, and if they scream,
Yeah, okay.
well, it's screaming 2 minions extra into your deck, and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, for Nalguidan, I would be... It's tough. He needs to be hesitant about using bouncers because he wants to save it, I think, for the Horseman OTK, I think is what he should be moving towards, rather than the Holy Wrath OTK.
I don't know, like, he's going to be on 6 because he can post Potion of Heroism.
Yeah.
And also he has 2 swings of his weapon, so if he doesn't use a swing now, even if Anduin comes out, he can 2-hit him. So he takes the armor in 1, and then the next swing he decides goes to 25.
Was merely a setback.
Not going to use Kangor. That surprises me a little bit, but he has seen a Holy Fire and he goes to 21, so he's extremely safe, actually.
Yeah,
Maybe the hero power
never dies.
applies several extra layers of pressure.
As Anduin is picked up off the top. That is what UchihaSaske needed, giving him the ability to both kill off this Shivala and get the damage rolling. This is so important for him.
And also kill off the Horseman that was not bounced.
So does he do that, or does he need to get the damage rolling to face? I guess the heal is just too much, right?
Yeah. The heal's still there, and also he doesn't kill him next turn anyway. He doesn't have the other Mind Blast. He's not Shadow Vision. So I think you just don't want him to just roll 3 times and win the game.
As well, Nalguidan has left himself in a really nice spot here where he still has both avenues open to him.
Wait, what did Nalguidan swing the weapon on last turn? Did I just blink and miss something?
He swung into one of the minions, right, to clear off one minion.
It was the Twilight Drake. I'm surprised.
Would you like to have saved both swings?
Yeah, because you beat the armor and then you reset up on the 25.
Oh, into the 1/1 Twilight Drake.
Yeah,
that is
like,
interesting because it heals him for 4, which brings him up to 21 from 17. Does he ever die from 17? He doesn't, does he? Because he's seen 1 Holy Fire. Yeah, no Shadow Visions. Interesting. And I mean, it's fine. He still has a very valid win condition at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And who knows, maybe he builds up enough of a board to get there with the Shivala OTK still.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm learning this deck. I am not saying I'm right. I'm just questioning things that I actually don't know answers to. So you should answer me with the correct answer, Derek. That's how this partnership works.
Oh, right.
It should just be 100%
I'm learning so much.
Oh, there's visions. Okay.
Yep. Before the second Mind Blast, very importantly. And also before the second Shadow Visions, kind of relevantly, which means he could just go ping visions.
Although this Kangor, it's such a good minion. Because I think I said yesterday to you, like, whenever I've tried leaving it up, it just never works out.
Yeah.
They just heal for more, and especially when you know there's a Shivala in the hand.
Probably got to just steal it, I would imagine here. With a double ping to face, or do you kill off both the minions? Like,
I've got another question for you.
Darkness
Is this Scream
speaks to me.
as good as it's ever going to get, dropping 3 minions back into your opponent's deck? 3 card draw at this point in the game after seeing so much card draw? That's potentially 3 turns.
Just give him more bounces though, right? Like,
Right, but you're also killing them and not being healed by Kango.
yeah,
I don't know. Oh, it's just Visions and Mind Blast.
that's pretty sick.
Oh,
That's
okay.
pretty sick.
So, UchihaSaske is ignoring the Kangor and saying, I've just got Visions and Mind Blast now, so I'm just going to go.
Well, he hasn't played any minions, so he knows that Shivala doesn't, obviously heal immediately, but there's still 1 Flash of Light left, I believe, to Nalguidan after I think he's used 1 earlier. Which means he knows there's a really good chance that he's going to heal up for something. He never has lethal this turn anyway. UchihaSaske doesn't have lethal, sorry, I should say. It's an interesting line. I'm not certain I agree with it, to be honest. I think whether it came through Cabal Shadow Priest or Psychic Scream, I think he had to deal with this, right?
Cabal wouldn't have been bad, actually, right? Because
Yeah, you
then
just
you
steal
also
it. Get 2 pings.
have heals yourself
Yep.
that beat Holy Wrath potentially. So then you ask the question of Nalguidan, do you need to now deal with this instead of me? Like, this sounds good. Yeah, I didn't even consider Cabal Shadow Priest. And I should, because Cabal Shadow Priest has decided plenty of games this weekend.
Yeah. And so for Nalguidan now, I was looking at the potential of just like going for a banker with Shivala now because he still has the possibility for Horseman. But if he uses Baleful Banker as well, he only has 1 bouncer left, which means he wouldn't be able to go for the Horseman OTK. So I like just chilling for the moment. This still leaves the Shivala OTK open, still leaves the Horseman OTK open. He has all avenues for victory open. He just needs to survive. Against a 19 damage combo that Sasuke has now got himself.
Looks like Sasuke is just going to continue pushing as much damage as possible. I keep staring at these screams. Mainly because there's so many minions you want to kill, right?
This play from Sasuke is so weird. Like it's just not what I would do, and I'm not trying to say that that's wrong.
Right? No, yes, you are, Derek. It's not what I would do, so it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you said.
Thanks for putting the words into my mouth. It's like pinging the minion there. His opponent still doesn't have lethal next turn, and he's clearly trying to end the game next turn.
But there's still timeout. There's still flash. There's still...
Yeah.
Obviously, Shivala won't do anything right now. I think there's an overplay around Shivala.
Like this damage to face, when you're leaving Kangor on the board, it just never sticks. He still has 2 flash of lights. Like, I thought he'd already used 1. How does this ever get there? Like, it's not even the fact that he can just pray that the Horseman rolls the wrong one like 5 times in a row, because he's just going to die to the Shivala OTK.
And he's run out of damage to even kill him ever.
Yeah. I'm just not in love with this line from Sasuke.
It's why, even though it was risky because of the minions, you would be screaming. But I thought, well, if the scream buys you 3 turns and there's no Kangor there, well, maybe you can start playing your own minions or ping away. I don't know.
And to be fair, like, UchihaSaske is in a miserable position. He probably was never going to win this game after a certain point anyway. But his play just screamed of a man that had given up. Like, it was just, you know, I'm not actually going to think about what he's got. I'm just going to bring in that.
UchihaSaske, Nalguidan, very nice win with the Paladin, but now it's going to be Hunter versus the Rogue.
Yeah, and a fairly interesting matchup, and I think one that my opinion of might have changed somewhat, because before casting a whole bunch this weekend and last weekend, I was pretty firmly on the Hunter's side, I think. And though I would still put the Hunter in the lead, I'm starting to see more and more of the fact that if Oddrogue hits the curve at once and uses its dagger very well, it really can just get into a position where it sneaks in enough damage early on to close out the game with Myra's. Even though it might lose the board eventually, it can still just get the burst damage it needs to close out the game.
Yeah, and I think the key for Rogue in this matchup is trap negation. Just being able to beat, is this freezing? If it is, can I beat it and not throw my hench clan into it? All these questions, if it's Wandering Monster, can actually more or less always kill it with a dagger and a Salty deckhand, probably.
Yeah.
And it's all just about protecting these singular threats, but already, Nalguidan, I would say, off to a pretty good start. That Spellstone is often unanswerable by Oddrogue.
Yeah, this start is pretty nuts for Nalguidan, and would have been even more so, I think, if we had seen UchihaSaske going with the Vicious Fledgling instead of the Tar Creeper. So a pretty nice spot of the weakness it had to coin flanking strike, which I think Nalguidan would very likely have gone for, even though it stops his potential for coin spellstone.
A little bit of a strange play there, actually. Playing the Tar Creeper before attacking with the Daimon, it just could have been explosive, and that's a problem for flanking.
Yes, yeah. Well, that I suppose was just wrong.
Just at first it happened, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just gonna pass. Because something you can do, and I don't see players do often enough, is just, okay, you just have that secret that does nothing.
Yeah.
I'll get ahead on board, and when I have the amount of attacks I need,
Yeah.
then I'll go.
So out of the 3 possible plays of attacking first, then playing Tar Creeper, then attacking, or not attacking, he made probably the worst out of all
Yeah.
3, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah, I think probably leaving it there for the moment was probably best, because say it's Wandering Monster and you attack in and your Daimon dies, miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly
Not a
because
fan
the
of
whole
that.
play was to play around flanking strike, and you set up
Yeah.
a Tar Creeper that could die to flanking strike. Very strange. But now, the buffed Tar Creeper looking pretty hench right now.
Yeah, interesting play on this turn where, you know, he obviously wants to kill off the Cobalt Scalebane with its ability to snowball the game pretty quickly, being very scary, but oh man, even just going for Spellstone that turn wouldn't have been that bad, honestly. Getting the 9/9 of stats on the board was very tempting.
I feel like Fungomancer is a great fear.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree this is more
yeah,
important.
3 threes. 3 threes, whatever. And Fungomancer comes down, then you're in real trouble. Especially because with the freezing trap, UchihaSaske knows that there's only one, so then you can just smash face every turn, and as you said, try and out-aggro the hunter.
Yeah.
Ready to ride. Wolf Rider. I miss you.
How low you've sunk, Hunter.
I think Valspine's a completely reasonable play here with that deckhand.
I agree.
Keep
Get
the
that
board
tempo.
clean.
Go Fungalmancer next turn.
And then our personal favourite, Derek. Myra's into hope I draw the cards to win.
Oh yes, the classic. I mean, there's very few bad cards you can get off Myra's in Odd Rogue, to be honest. Obviously, the real nice ones are Leroy Coldblood. That's the bad one, which he's already drawn.
So can't draw from Myra's.
The best draw in his deck there of Baku the Moon Eater.
Can't draw Myra's.
Flawless logic.
Can't draw Baku from Myra's if you've already drawn it.
Maybe people should just start keeping on the mulligan. Then you never draw it.
Your mulligan ends up being Myra's and Stable Element, Baku, and I don't know, a deckhand, and you're like, perfect.
As you take a bite of another Dorito and smile at your computer, knowing you are truly legendary.
The problem here is for UchihaSaske is that Nalguidan has a very powerful next turn, even in isolation of just Reiner and
Reiner.
Putting an R on the end of every word. Turn to Rhino and raise them all.
Into Reiner.
And raise them all by itself is very powerful.
Yep.
But you throw that on top of an already aggressive board, and that could be game ending.
As it looks like, well, UchihaSaske has very much been all out on the aggressive plan. Maybe Nalguidan, with his incredibly powerful Spellstone turn last turn, can actually turn this around now. With the Rhino into Razormaw. If he doesn't die next turn because he clears off the whole board, he could just deliver lethal the turn after.
I was thinking the other way. I was thinking, how much do you push this turn to just say, well, I guess the 5/6
kind of
it's too scary, right? Yeah.
Like, if you leave one of these minions on board, you're dead to Leroy.
Too scary.
I like the thinking, though, that you could try and push the extra damage, but I think just triple trade, push the rest base.
Quickly.
Like, I think with a triple trade, you still are very much in the game.
It feels difficult because the more you trade, the longer it takes to win. The longer it takes to win, the more time the rogue has to kill you. So it's very hard to play with.
As now staring down, 11, 13 damage minimum next turn for UchihaSaske. He could very well just be facing lethal. So does he play the Myras to effectively deal 1 damage to himself with the fatigue he would take next turn? I think he doesn't really have a choice, to be honest. He has to go for it.
I think that's fair. I am interested that he didn't play the Squire first, though.
What's he looking to be playing instead?
I'm out of cards.
mean, he could have hit lethal with like deckhand double cold blood.
He'd already used one deckhand.
Yeah. It's unlikely.
Because the Squire threatens lethal, because any minion that's just on the board means you don't necessarily need Leroy to get the Cold Bloods live. And also, what if your opponent sinks, 5 damage into a Squire?
Yeah,
cool.
I agree with you, actually.
And you draw an extra card that might be another Cold Blood, a Leroy or a deckhand.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's that any minion you play on this turn, for 3 mana or less, it doesn't matter, it will die. It doesn't matter. That is never connecting phase. You just want to give yourself the maximum chance of finding Leroy plus Cold Blood or Deadly Poison.
This is kind of...
If we can get Leok, that would be insane.
But why did he play no minions? He has... Am I being stupid? He has no lethal next turn. He can do 4 damage.
Well, he never would have had lethal anyway, right? Because nothing sticks.
No, but if it's not sticking...
He's soaking up damage.
Yeah, but then you can keep swinging with the dagger.
Yeah.
You're always dead. Like, if he survived one more turn, he wins, because he just daggers face again.
Yeah.
Threatens Cold Blood. It's unfortunate, because I sort of blinked and missed it, and then just saw the dagger swing go on with it.
I don't think he could ever have won with this hand after that point. After the Myras didn't give him any charge minions at all, I think Nalguidan had it locked down.
Rogue. You know, he has some of the more aggressive classes that can actually maybe beat up on this, but I feel this is all down to how well the clones, how well the clones end up, because a lot of the power in any given matchup is on the priest side, whether that's be a lack of power or extreme shows of power. Now we see Myra's unstable element as well, so again, good start to the day.
I mean, just this matchup, I think, is just absolutely miserable for the Cloning Gallery Priest. UchihaSaske has definitely lined up his best first, because, I mean, Nalguidan's whole hand, Mass Hysteria might be able to clear off the board if he's very lucky going into turn 5. But even that I find quite optimistic, and the amount of damage he'll have taken by turn 5 might have just closed out the game anyway.
It's one of the slower openings, though, from Odd Road. Just a few 1-drops, none of the big 3-drops that we talk about fairly often. Henchclan, Thug, Vicious Fledgling, of course.
Yeah, no Cold Blood, really, I think, is the real sadness here for Sasuke, because that would have just closed out this game lightning fast.
I will say, Nalguidan is only one Witchwood Grizzly / Ziliax away from a good time, because the second Ziliax comes down, then you can res it, or the same with Grizzly. Outside of exactly Vile Spine Slayer, there's no real way to deal with it efficiently for the Rogue, and on top of having to trade minions into these 3 attacks, which deal with a lot of Rogue minions, they're also healing all the time as well, so it can be a tough one, but Sasuke is doing it well so far. I imagine we're going to see a coin 5-drop next turn.
And it's worth pointing out as well that Nalguidan is only running 1 Witchwood Grizzly, I was about to say, as it promptly comes a calling.
You only need 1 if you draw it, Derek. He clones them. My blessed face.
You know that Nalguidan roughly translates to Bear Whisperer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I mean, makes sense to me. He drew Grizzly on the turn. He did pretty much need it.
Yeah.
Oh, more 1-drops. It's kind of funny this, right? Because the more minions you play, and if you drop coin Scalehide, then Mass Hysteria does work.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange, right?
Yeah.
Like, this actually makes Mass Hysteria better.
It doesn't have to clear up everything, just a little bit will get the job done. And with even the Shadow of Death, which could obviously be used to deal with this Scalebane, the Remnant effect is still so strong. This is why Scalebane was such a powerhouse during the Kobold's meta.
I've changed my mind about Mass Hysteria. I'm going to make brash comments that are overconfident. It's going to clear the board, Derek.
Okay.
I've worked it out.
I disagree, but let's see. You see, you were so wrong.
Yeah,
you were so wrong.
Look, it'll sound cool when I'm right, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to keep plugging away.
What, in like 5,000 universes out of 537,000, you sounded really cool there.
I'll take it, to be honest.
I mean, there probably weren't even that many outcomes with that one, because most minions died when they attacked into other minions. But whatever. It means UchihaSaske still has something on the board. He can still keep the damage rolling, and most importantly, he's got the element.
I will say, though, Witchwood Grizzly into cards such as the Psychic Scream, even just the Spellstone to just res the Grizzly again, might do enough, because this Myra's... Oh, there we go. Okay, double Vile Spine is a bit of a pog champ if I ever saw one. And the Leroy with a single cold blood. Spicy.
It's an interesting attack there. Do you like weakening this bear? Because obviously you don't want to kill it. Even if he could, he probably wouldn't because of the fear of it being resurrected through Spellstone or Eternal Servitude. But he could have just gone for a Vilespine clear next turn. What else is there that he wants to hit with that? I guess because he's got Leroy Coldblood, maybe he just wants to win next turn. Is very valid.
Would he win next turn with this play?
Yeah, it doesn't even get him there, does it?
Pass. We're not doing
Not
that
allowed, you can't pass.
Oh, right, it's my job not to do that, right? Whoops. Oh, wow, I mean, okay, so... But then you've just lost... Is this part of the plan, Derek? Because killing the gargoyle also just helps Nalguidan do more stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like not utilizing these Valspines in any way possible feels strange.
No. I think after he's committed to the line of lowering the health of the Grizzly, saving them for a resurrected Grizzly is fine. Just because otherwise, how does he get through them? But even then, like if he'd gone for SI7 agent to go for face there instead, even if it's Psychic Screamed back into his deck, so what? That's less fatigue he's taking. It's 2 more damage, exactly, and maybe he doesn't have it, and it sticks 3 damage to face.
So there's 8 damage, 10 total without this Tar Creeper, if it dies. So even 11 with the Tar Creeper next turn as a maximum, I believe, unless I'm counting that wrong. Because he can Leroy and SI and swing with a dagger.
Right. Obviously, the resurrected Grizzly has something to say about that.
I'm not wondering if this is just going to buy Nalguidan too much time.
But, I mean, very possible.
Well, 1 Spirit Lash, and this game's over, especially because he has Malygos.
Yeah.
So if he survives 2 more turns, well, now 1 because of the Gargoyle.
That's just game. I mean, if he finds Spirit Lash, it's basically just game, I think, at this point. Oh!
He can even... If he gets Velen, he can just coin heal, which sounds like not as good.
I mean, he gets Ziliax as well.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, let's quickly check. Oh yeah, he wants Obsidian Statue too.
Nuts, dude.
Lich King can turn things around as well. It's almost guaranteed this, right? He only has 1 Radiant. 2 Gilded... Oh no, 1 Gilded Gargoyle. So it's 1 Gilded, 1 Radiant. Lyra's in hand, so Ziliax, Velen, Lich King, Obsidian Statue. That's 6. So if he plays it, he would get all minions that he's got cloned.
But it looks like he might be considering Psychic Scream on this turn because it clears off the board, heals him up for 2, up to 11. That's a very discreet breakpoint from 10.
Is it? Because he's scared of Coldblood, right? And then it's just
Leroy Coldblood, dagger. Yeah, I suppose.
Like that's what...
It's so rough though, it's so close.
It's hard. Oh, wait. Was that ever a misplay?
Yeah, because he could have traded Ziliax in.
And also, he would have saved 1 mana so we could coin Hero Power.
I guess if he doesn't want to trade with Ziliax.
Death Coil.
Yeah, very important heal there, especially with the Velen, if it sticks. So, oh man, what does Saske even do here? Hench Clan, does he have to Vilespine Ziliax? That statue's so insane.
3 taunts as well. Statue fallen out of favor with a lot of players, but in this specific matchup...
I mean, as has Lich King. Dog was not playing Lich King or Obsidian Statue, a very light on minion version. Yeah.
Is this starting to slip away? We see a Death Coat and a Velen that, unless I'm mistaken, I believe lives.
I mean, it's just lethal, right? Because he's got Velen and Malygos plus Death Coat. He just literally wins the game.
Wow. Wow. Nalguidan taking the win. The smile on the face as he knows he's got it. Velen lived. Malygos was there. All the damage he could ever want, even with Spirit Lashes and Death Coat, if they so needed them. But Nalguidan